I've mentioned this previously in my other video journals, but a skill I really want to develop this year deliberately is to become a better speaker, a better orator or orator, or whatever it's called. The reason for this, I really think, is there is so much value you can provide when you're conscious of how you're communicating information. I find this to be especially true in the work I do, where I have to currently, as context, I'm preparing an intern presentation, and I'm finding how much I struggle to really convert these ideas, technical ideas, into non technical concepts and to really emphasize why they're necessarily important. Another thing I realized too is that the way I present um, is a very what's the word? It's a very casual kind of presentation style. Like, for example, I'm thinking very deliberately of how I'm presenting myself right now and the kind of language and body language I'm using. But usually I'll kind of talk something like this. I'll make a few quips here and there. I'll use language. I'm a bit more loose, which in cases is fine. It's the like perfect way of speaking, and each person has their own kind of like preferred speaking style. But this feels more like a crux than okay. Now, like that was pretty chill, but now I'm gonna focus in. I feel like that's more of a crux than a deliberate choice. It's fine to be casual and to be loose with your language. However, what about scenarios where you want to be serious, where you really want to be concise and clear with the message you convey? Having this very kind of wishy washy form of communication doesn't really meet those requirements. So, therefore, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. But in terms of how to actually like implement and improve and get better, I think the most simple thing I can do right now is, again, obviously video journal. I think really staring yourself in the eye and talking to yourself and hearing everything you say really makes it clear what kinds of weaknesses, or not weaknesses. See, even the kind of like vocabulary I use, like just thinking of words on the fly and then having it be the right words, it's so difficult. But yeah, I think you'll help me identify, like, exactly right. What I'm doing right now is that I'm realizing that I'm encountering an issue, and then I'm reflecting on it, which is exactly the kind of, reinforcing cycle I want to cultivate. Uh, that's everything in terms of that. And I can also talk a little bit more about other things. Today, I thought was kind of an interesting story, but also made me reflect a lot. Was, to put simply, to give you the context, I was like sitting with a few interns, and they were betting on like how many math questions I could solve in like 60 seconds. And like I haven't done arithmetic in a very long time, so I was a little bit nervous. But I think when I was actually on the laptop and then had like 8 people spectating me, I choked so bad. I choked incredibly bad. I think more so than I would have personally expected. I had this question, which was 360 divided by 4, which is 90. And obviously, that's quite apparent, but like in the moment, I recognize a usual pattern of behavior that I've identified right now is that I'll often, if I think like I've done something wrong, or if I'm like choking, I'll just give up. I'll give up in the sense that it's like, oh, like what can you do? And I don't think that's definitely not a good thing to do. I think when you're choking, the hope, like when you're choking, the most important thing to do is to snap out of it and to return to that state of focus. When you just give up, like why? Why would you give up? Why would you give up just because you're like having a bit of a hiccup? Like these things happen all the time, but I this is especially hindering me during interviews, technical interviews, when I'm writing leak code and I'm stuck on a problem. I just like start giving up. I start realizing, oh, like I'm making a fool of myself. Why am I taking myself seriously? And that shouldn't be the kind of mindset. One, you should be completely fine with choking. Choking is like such a natural response, having just like mind blanks is a natural thing and you just have to deal with it. But I think the way you deal with it shouldn't be to just fucking, oh well, psh, I'm such a stupid fucking chud. It should be like, okay, I'm really stuck at the moment. Let's systematically get myself out of this rut. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to mention today. But I think it's a relatively insignificant anecdote. where it's just like, oh, I did shit on like a little math exercise, but I think it really identified a kind of weakness I have, and I want to articulate that so that I can make deliberate decisions moving forward to avoid that kind of pattern of behavior. So now when I'm doing a technical interview, and even if I'm fucking eating shit, bro, if I'm doing as terribly as possible, never give up. Never, like, always believe in yourself, basically. Like, even if things get so bad, like, do your best. There's no point in giving up for the sake of, like, saving face. Because if anything, it's more embarrassing for you to have given up and to show that you're not persevering. That's everything I wanted to mention today. Uh, oh, one final thing as well. Another bad pattern of behavior I usually do is that when I get home, I'll say, I'll give myself a little bit of Reels time and then I'll get to work. But then obviously that can lead to so many opportunities for procrastination. Like after I finished dinner, I was like, oh, I have like half an hour of Reels time, and they expanded to 1 hour, like 1.5 hours. I think honestly, if you unless you feel completely mentally exhausted, then just do the work. Do the work, and then you can take a break or whatever. And also, when you take a break, maybe don't go on the fucking phone. Maybe read a book or something, or like get some water. Um, I'm more tempted to put some very like strict blockers, like I originally did while I was at uni, where it's just like I don't even have the option to look at Instagram Reels anymore. It's just like completely um, out of my control, and I actually might do that right now. Sorry, Eric, no more YouTube videos. You have to fucking log in. But don't be harsh to yourself. Be nice to yourself. That's everything I wanted to say today. Goodbye.